Here, and I have been using Cryptotab on my 5 Android devices here for the last week, and I just want to run through exactly how much I've made, whether this is actually a viable solution to mine Bitcoin on your phone, and exactly how much you could potentially make from this. So I've been trying to keep track of exactly how much I've made each day, and I have put it into a spreadsheet, and we'll go through that shortly. But I just want to go through the Cryptotab app itself and exactly what it does. So basically, Cryptotab is a web browser for your Android or iOS device, which uses Chromium in the background. So it's basically a Chrome browser with a crypto mining function built in. So this doesn't actually use your phone's processor to mine Bitcoin. It's one of these sort of web cloud mining things. So you don't need to worry about your phone battery draining at all. It won't actually utilize the CPU to do any mining. If you do install this on your PC, however, that is a different story. So we can see here the PC version of the app, and currently my PC is sort of sat not doing really much at the moment, but as soon as I enable the mining function here, you'll see that the CPU starts getting utilized. So if I turn this on, you'll get a notification as to whether or not your PC configuration is supported or not. Now this does only support certain CPUs apparently, but I'm not too worried about that. It's just the cloud boost feature that isn't going to run. So I'm just going to click confirm and start this up. So once this starts up, you'll notice that the CPU usage starts getting higher. Now this is obviously going to affect your PC speed whilst you're using it. So it is good that you can actually set a sort of level of the speed here on the control. So I've got an AMD Ryzen 3600 here, which is a 6-core processor running about 4 gigahertz. And you can see here I'm mining at a hash rate of about 2200 on the minimum setting. Now I can go up again, and again it will adjust the amount of power it's using. And we'll see the CPU here increase once it has adjusted. So my computer would still be usable at this sort of speed at about 40% CPU usage. And basically the higher you go, the more CPU it will use. So if we max this out, you'll see the CPU also gets maxed out, and it's going to go to about 100% shortly. And that will make the PC very slow and, not really very usable. So just bear that in mind. If you are going to use the PC or the desktop version, you are going to have speed issues if you leave it on max speed. Like I said, if you just drag this down to an area where your PC is still usable, then you could obviously mine some Bitcoin in the background whilst your computer is on. So what I've actually done is I've popped this onto my SC Prime mini PC, and I am running it on there. And we can see here I've got it to about 50% utilization here, because I think that's about the sort of best I can keep it without maxing out the CPU completely and overheating the system. It's running about 50%, 50 to 60% CPU usage here. So it's not actually using up too much, and I'm getting an extra 600 to 700 hash per second. So we quickly go through the spreadsheet here. I've worked out exactly how this works on the Android devices at least. So initially you would think that the more devices you have, the more that you will mine. But actually I've done a test here, and I had 6 Android devices all mining at the same time, and basically it doesn't make any difference whatsoever. So you don't need more than a single device when you're doing your mining. So just bear that in mind, because it does say you can install it on multiple devices, which you can, but it isn't actually going to increase your earnings by any amount whatsoever. So like I said, I actually had it set up on all these devices, and actually the phone that's being used to record this part of the video, and it doesn't make any difference whatsoever as to your hash rate. It doesn't increase it anymore, and it doesn't make it mine any more Bitcoin. So at the end of my test, I realized I didn't actually need to use all these devices. So what I decided in the end was I was going to use my old Galaxy S8 here and just leave this running 24/7 and get this to do my mining for me. Now you can see here that it's currently stopped, because you do have to keep turning it on every 3 hours. So that'd be quite annoying if you were going to, try and remember to do that every 3 hours. So what I did was set up an application called ClickMate, and this basically allows you to automate touches on your screen. Now, I don't think this is anything against the terms and conditions. It does say in their replies to some of the reviews for Cryptotab that they can't automatically enable the web cloud mining feature on all phones, so that you do have to do it manually. So the fact you've got an app to do it automatically for you, I don't believe is breaking any terms and conditions, and it's the most efficient way I've found to get this running as much as possible. So I'm just going to stop the routine here briefly, and I'll just go through exactly what you can potentially earn here. So I've purchased the Pro version of the app, which boosted my hash rate by about 3 times, I believe. And after a while, it did pop up and offer me a 30% discount on the cloud boost function. So if we have a look here, this allows you to add boosts to your system here. So I've paid £142 for the 15x boost for 360 days. And if we have a look here, you can see here that works out at about £15 a month. I did get an additional 30% off the discounted version here, like I say, so it's about £145 or so. So I thought I'd try it out just so that you don't have to, and just see whether this could potentially be profitable or not. Now they do also have other things such as NFT mining, but we'll go through that properly a bit later on. So I've currently got, like I say, the 15 times boost enabled on this, and I'll just show you exactly how I've automated the setup. So I've installed a couple of things here to make this work. Now you do need to make sure the screen doesn't lock for this, so I've installed an app here called Always On, and that allows a widget to be placed on your desktop, and you can turn the screen timeout to be always on, so it doesn't actually ever time out. So I'll put links to these apps in the description, obviously. I've also got one called Black Screen, which when you open it up, just turns your screen black. This is to make sure, or to try and avert any screen burn on the device. And the setup I've got on ClickMate is as follows. So what you can do in ClickMate is you can record your clicks on the screen. So if I click record here, I can then press the home button here. I can open the Play Store, for example, and I can click on the first app in the screen. Once you've recorded your macros here, you can press stop. You can click on play and we can watch that replay what we've just touched on the screen. Okay, so that is how you do your recordings. Once you've got all your recordings done, I'll show you exactly what I've done here. So I can load my Cryptotab combination. So these are all the recordings that I've done here. So the first one opens Cryptotab, that's quite easy. It basically clears all the apps from memory by doing the switch task and close all, opens Cryptotab, and then presses the button to start the mining. So I'll show you how I've done the capture bit in a minute, but after it's done the sliding to start the mining, we then load that black screen app to save the screen from burning, and then we have a minute pause here which repeats 181 times. So this then basically waits 3 hours until the next slide needs to be done to authenticate and start the mining back up. So all in all, this will repeat indefinitely until the end of time by setting the repeat count to 0. So again, I'll put all these instructions in the description to make it a bit easier, but I'll show you exactly why I've had to do it this way. So what I recommend you do when you're on the verification screen in Cryptotab, take a screenshot, and then this is how we're going to do our verify bit. So obviously this is trying to detect that it's a human verifying the sliding is happening. So what I did, like I say, is take a screenshot. I went to the record mode here. I then went back to my screenshot. So I know that I'm going to be able to just slide on this screenshot without it actually doing anything. So I then started recording and then moved my finger across to various different locations on the slide here. Just do that a few times, because what I found was that the verify slide thing had the jigsaw puzzle in various positions across the side of the screen, but it was normally either here, in the middle, or on the right somewhere. So if you do enough pretend slides, then you'll eventually find one that does match up. So we'll go through and you can watch it in real time once I actually click play on the combination that we've made. So that's how I did the sliding bit. And like I say, after that, all it does is go back here, open the black screen, and then it just waits for 3 hours until the next time, and it just repeats that whole process all over again. So we'll close out all of this. I'm going to go back into my ClickMate application, go to combine recordings, and load up my combination of Cryptotab. So if we just edit this, don't forget again, it's going to open Cryptotab. It's then going to try the sliding. So I've done multiple different slides on the screen. It's going to try that 5 times just to make sure it does pass the verification. And then it will load the black screen and repeat a 1 minute pause for 3 hours until the next time. And it's just going to keep looping and doing that. Click play on here and you'll just watch that go through its various steps. Move this out of the way a bit. Okay, so it goes to the crypto dashboard as well, just to make sure we're in the right place. So it's on the open C tab still. it's then going to start doing the verification. So we're now on the slide new task. So the first one failed. It's going to try again. That's also a failure. Try again. We nearly got it there, but not quite. Again, you just have to play around with it really with various different slides and see how you get on. This is why I've repeated it 5 times, because it does give you more chances of actually getting it correct at one point. I haven't had a time where it has completely failed yet, so that's worth knowing. Nearly made it there. It's actually quite amusing to watch this sometimes. Ah, there we go, we've got it. So now I haven't had to do anything. I could have left it somewhere where I don't need to even look at it again, and it's now started off by itself and started mining. So now in 3 hours time, or just over 3 hours, it's going to repeat that process and it'll just keep this rolling again and again. So obviously, apart from the fact I've got the screen on full brightness, what I do also is set the screen brightness to the minimum, turn off auto brightness so it doesn't automatically try and brighten up at all when it gets dark, and that's just saving power. So I've done some testing as well. Once the phone is 100% charged up and once the black screen is on, it only uses about 1.5 to 2 watts of power whilst in this state. So it isn't actually using up much power at all. That's probably a few dollars a year in electric. So it's quite safe to just leave this running on an old phone that you don't use anymore and just completely forget about it basically. And you can see here so far in the last few days, I've earned $3.75. So obviously that's just the value of Bitcoin at the moment, which is quite down. If it was back up to where it was a few months ago, that would obviously be twice the amount of money. So it'd be, you know, worth at least $7 or $8 probably. So it's not actually bad at all, really. I'd reckon you could make about $7 or $8 per week with this. And this is just a complete no-brainer again, as always, because we can see here the black screen is now going to be loaded up. So it's going to load the black screen up. And now you'll see here, we've got 3 hours and 6 minutes remaining until it will repeat the process. So I'm going to be behind about 10 minutes each time. So I could probably make it slightly more efficient, but I'm going to leave it as it is because it is doing exactly what I want it to. But as I was saying, the actual energy usage of this is absolutely tiny. Like I say, a couple of pounds a year, a couple of dollars for the electric. So it's really not going to use up a lot of power at all. So it's really worth doing. And we can work out now back in our spreadsheet whether we're going to make any profit from this after a year's worth of it running. Okay, so I've been running this fully and the automated sort of setup that I've got since the 17th. So I'm going to work it out for the 4 full days that we have been running. So I've just got the total here that was mined at the end of last night and divided it by 4. So a very rough estimate here is about 84 cents per day. So we can see here exactly how much I've invested, $180. So I did buy the Pro version of the app, which increases your base speed to, I think it was 2000 hashes per second. And then obviously added that extra 15x boost just for fun to see what happened. So let's see. So we total of 179. And if we divide that by 0.84, we should get exactly how many days in, well, an average or an estimate of how many days we would make our money back on. So let's give that a go. So this will be days to ROI, and we're going to do equals 179 divided by 84 cents. So apart from the fact that's in the wrong number, so in 211 days we should get our return on investment, and then everything after that will be pure profit. Now don't forget, this does match the price of Bitcoin. So if Bitcoin goes up, the ROI will go down, and if Bitcoin goes down, the ROI will go up. I think it's not bad really for something that could just be sat on your desk somewhere, or you know, just plug it into a computer that you've got running, maybe your SC Prime one, plug it into the USB port, let it sit there happily mining away. And because we've got it automated as well, we don't even have to think about it. Now what you can do is actually check on any other phone. So for example, on my S22 here, I can just go to the crypto dashboard. I've installed the app obviously, and I can see exactly how things are going. I can see it's still mining away and working, and I don't need to look at this phone again really. I can just leave it going, but I can obviously just check every now and again that it is actually still loading and running the automation properly to get the mining working. I can just keep an eye on things from here. So it's actually quite a nice way to do that. You don't have to think about this phone ever again. So I guess the question is, would I recommend the Cryptotab browser? And with my initial calculations here, I'd say yes. And I know, like I say, 211 days is quite a long time, but to get all your investment back and then I'd still have another 150 odd days of just pure profit. So maybe it'll make around, at this current price, let's say 150 times that, because this is obviously a year's worth of a license I've purchased. So we'll say 150 days times this. So I could make $126 of profit from just using this. Let's go for $120 in total, because obviously we've got to factor in the cost of electricity. So we'll round that down to 120, which is about $10 a month in total. Now, again, like I say, if the price of Bitcoin goes up, so if it doubles in price, for example, we can then expect $20 a month. So yeah, overall, I'd say it is actually still worth signing up to. So I have put my referral link down below in the description if you do wish to sign up. And you can see here, it's quite a good system. So obviously when you sign up as well, you can give your referral link to your friends and you'll then earn 15% of their earnings. And then if they invite their friends, it'll be 10% of theirs, and it goes down and obviously gets a bit less and less. But yeah, it's quite a nice little referral system that they have here. But even without the referral, you can still make a profit. Like I've said here, I would say a couple of 100 days to get the initial return back, and that is including the electric costs. Then you've just got the profit coming in from the remainder of your license that you've purchased. So like I said, I purchased the 15x Cloud Boost. You can obviously purchase NFTs and other bits and pieces. So let's have a look at the NFT mining. So you can see here, this gives you more hashes per second, these ones here. So you could go for 100,000 hashes a second. So yeah, if you want to spend more, you can potentially make more back. And that's going to cost you 0.139 ETH. And that does only last for 30 days. So for an extra $27, you get an extra 33,000 hashes per second. So I could potentially double what I'm earning if I pay another $27, but I'd have to work out exactly whether that'd be worth it or not by doing some calculations in my spreadsheet here. One last thing I nearly forgot to mention is that the screen does need to be left on. That's why we're using the blacking out app to make sure that the automation can run. But if you're just going to run this on your sort of normal day-to-day phone, you don't need to leave the screen on. You can lock the screen and obviously unlock it just when you want to start the cloud mining off again. But because I'm automating the whole thing, I do need to leave the screen on completely. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you have any questions at all, please do let me know down below and I'll try and help out. If you need any help with the ClickMate app, then yeah, just drop me a comment. It can be a bit fiddly, but once you've had a play with it, it's actually reasonably easy to understand and work out a good system for your phone that will work for you. Don't forget, I've left my affiliate link down below if you do want to sign up, and that helps out the channel as well. And again, thanks for watching, and I'll see you again in the next video.